quickly talk about Nintendo and pretty much the one thing to talk about: Zelda, the Breath of Life, Breath of Wind.
I've got Breath of Wind right now.
I'm so happy about this.
I'm just happy. Happy is a good word.
I really like. I know you guys haven't been able to see that much of it because you've been catching up, but I recommend you watch as much as you can until you go, I need to stop watching because I feel like it's being spoiled for me. I don't think you'll reach that point because I haven't, but I'm just so blown away. Like, I had high hopes for this game, and my expectations have been superseded significantly.
I'm annoyed because unfortunately, from what I have seen so far, trailers, gameplays, and little bits of roundup, it is definitely for me a console seller.
Sorry, you just cut out for me loads.
Yeah, I got about a third of it.
Damn. I was just basically ranting about the fact that because I think it is going to be such a good game, it is unfortunately going to be a console seller for me because I won't want to play it on the Wii U if I can play it on the next best thing, which is obviously a very good thing, but it just means it's going to cost me money, and my Wii U's slowly going to grow dormant now until that happens. But that is the larger meta point. I thought it was a very, very beautifully paced trailer.
Yeah,
it was very soothing. It didn't give loads away, but it gave you a real sense of scale.
The trailer's a real sort of tone setter.
Yeah,
very, very Studio Ghibli. Very like Princess Mononoke meets Laputa. I thought, but the rest of the gameplay stuff is just like I am so still so surprised how much there is going on in that game. It's not like they've been saying things for ages about what they were thinking of doing. And what their influences were going to be, and they just took it so much further than I expected. The world seems absolutely massive, but the size of it was never important to me because people talk about how big their open world games are all the time, and usually that's the last thing that matters in terms of how much you enjoy it. But it's just like there's so much going on. Every criticism that has been leveled at Zelda games over the past however many iterations, but basically since Wind Waker, let's say.
Yeah, they're all a beta or whatever for the next one.
Yeah, and you know, there's all the beginning sequence of every game gets longer and longer, and now it's just, hey, you wake up in a cave and now you can go. And I heard a thing earlier today. Apparently, Eiji Aonuma has been saying if you want to, from the very beginning of the game, you can walk to the final boss and see if you can do it. But you'll miss all of the story and all of the world. So that they're conceding to speedrunners. Their influences seem like people reference Skyrim a lot. And I guess just because it's a big open world, but to me it's way more Dark Souls and Minecraft, and people have been saying like they're recognizing a lot of the influences from Metal Gear as well, and these are all good things. Like the fact that there are survival mechanics, there's like food stuff that gives you health and different buffs. There's like you can use any weapon you find. There's
temperature.
There's
actually you have to wear different clothes.
Yeah, you've got this whole inventory system with your clothes. You've got this crazy physics engine that they've apparently been building, where fire spreads, and not just it just spreads. It spreads because wind blows it in a direction.
Yeah, one of the videos I saw was them firing fire arrows, and that was both having to adjust for wind and then in terms of the arrow mechanic, but then also the fire mechanic in terms of how it spread and stuff. I was like, that's fascinating.
And on top of that, it's so much more than just let's say a Skyrim equivalent. Like a Western game would typically go, okay, here are all these things you can do in the world.
Go do them.
Because the physics engine is built to allow that. So go and do what you want. But now they've got all of these like rune powers and stuff that allow you to play with it in crazy ways. Like, have you guys seen all the rune powers?
No, I've literally seen the trailer, and that's it. That's what I'm fascinated by all this stuff you're saying.
So there's like there's these different rune powers. You've got your magic tablet thing that allows you to sort of interact with loads of magical technology. You've got this magnet one where you can you've basically got telekinesis over metal objects and rocks and stuff. So that allows you to play around with a lot of things. I saw somebody in one of the in the stream like picking up an axe off the ground and swiping at enemies with it using that thing. You've got this stasis thing, which is really interesting because it like freezes stuff in place. But there's a particular thing you can do with it. So if you freeze an object and you just go and attack it loads of times, it builds up like stored momentum. So when the stasis wears off or you switch it off, that thing goes flying in whatever direction you've been hitting
that
it.
is going to make for puzzles.
The fact that they're messing with the formula of the game, so there's been a rumor that there might only be 4 main dungeons, but that there's loads of mini dungeons throughout the world. I have no idea if that's true, but in the demos there's these 4 different shrines you can go to where you get those abilities. But also there's like puzzles, and they are totally mini dungeons. And one of them was really interesting. There's this like cryokinesis, one of the great pillars of ice and stuff. Interesting puzzles, and they seem like actually, because it's so different from the rest of the Zelda framework of recent years, you're actually having to really think again and be like, this isn't just a puzzle formula that I recognize. These are completely different tool set that I'm having to deal with. That is really, really exciting to me. And they're saying like, hey, there's over 100 of those mini shrines throughout the world, as well as whatever else it's got going on. There's just so much in here to be excited about. It feels so fresh and it looks so good.
But it's the fact that the trailer and the gameplays and what they're starting to show now is basically showing that they have actually pulled this off. This isn't just talking about an open world and we're going to do this, and this. Is like, it is in theory, it's probably pretty much already there, and basically what we're doing now with the delay really is putting that Nintendo polish on it, because they've probably kept adding so much more stuff and they've got it in there, and it's going to be amazing. But they're like, but we want to just make sure it's all of the same standard. It's all of the same level. No element of it is going to feel like half-assed or like we chucked it in there at the last minute. So
everything about this game to me says it's Nintendo saying, hey, we know what you guys want. We've heard you, and beyond that, we've taken everything a step further than you expected. One of the
there'll
things
be surprises.
One of the things that impressed me a little bit during the stream was they went to the point of saying, hey, every time we're picking up these items, there's a little chime noise or whatever, and it shows you the item you picked up. And they went to the effort of saying, don't worry, this won't happen every time you pick it up. It's just because it's the demo and we're picking each thing up for the first time. Because they know that's been an issue, and that has been a stupid issue for the last couple of games.
Oh god, yeah. Actually, I am just remembering that and getting a little bit angry.
But it's showing that they clearly like demonstrated making an effort to say, hey, we're self-aware.
But on the small list of things, though,
yeah,
which then compared to the larger scale of things, like this is how we're going to do dungeons now. This is how the main story is going to work. Here's how the new inventories work. That's on a much larger scale. So the fact that they're focusing on both ends of that spectrum is very, very impressive, and
yeah,
I can kind of understand why a lot of focus has shifted to that and the NX to make this the thing they're doing. This is what they want to be remembered for
yeah.
in 2017. And if that means other things with the Wii U or other games are going to have to take a setback, you can kind of understand why.
Mm. No, this game is like so far and beyond anything else my game of the show. And it probably, realistically, it probably was going to be just because it's Zelda, and I'm a big fan of that shit. But this is so different from everything else, and it feels so exciting and new, and it's got that sense of adventure that you don't get in most games, and you haven't really had in Zelda for a very long time. It feels very much like the stuff you loved about all Zelda, but mixed in with the kind of the Ghibli-esque world and the actual sense of exploration and like the fear of the unknown that you get in the original Legend of Zelda.
If I could combine all of what you just said in terms of the sense of adventures, the Ghibli style of the world, mixed in with this, what I'm getting the sense of this expansive and immersive Skyrim quality, but in these settings, that is game changer. That is beyond. It's beyond my imagination because I can't predict what I'm going to get.
With Dark Souls and survival mechanics and stealth mechanics and like physics puzzles.
I'm way more excited from just hearing you talk about it than I was before, and that's only just because I've not seen anything about it.
I really recommend going and watching as much of that gameplay stuff as you can. They said during the demo they were showing off this large area of this upper plateau of the area, and they were saying something like, "Hey, this section is big, but it represents sort of 2% of the world, so don't worry about being too spoiled," kind of thing. It's a big deal. The game is a big deal.
Well, think about Pokemon Sun and Moon, which
Pokemon looks just fine.
It's doing all right.
The one thing that seems sort of new, I just couldn't. The whole of the time the Pokemon thing was happening, I just couldn't. I take it in because of the trailer for Zelda that they played before. But they did have one interesting thing. I think generally the game looks nice, and a lot of the HUD stuff seems cleverly designed and has got these like visual things that I really like added into it. But also there's like this 4-way fighting system.
Yes, very well.
That they've added in. It's called like Battle Royale or something, where 4 different trainers can fight each other at once, and it's a bit weird.
That's
that seems
Pokemon.
interesting.